everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. This is the October 19th edition of the program, and obviously we continue to go through October 19th, 2011. We basically do a capture the flag / tug of war deal as a challenge, 15 points on the line. Goofiness here overall, nothing worth writing home about, and eventually we see the matches break down. Derek Bateman does not get the reaction he wants out of things, which isn't a huge surprise. Bateman and Maxine continue their love triangle type situation here. Tyler Rex and Brian Myers are here. Myers claims to have been injured on NXT a couple weeks ago, complaining about the injury at the hands of the Usos, and manages to get some degree of attention here. Then we see Yoshitatsu makes his way out for a singles match with Rex. Doesn't exactly light anybody on fire here. Tackles by Rex, who doesn't get all he wants, is overpowering to Yoshitatsu. Tatsu, who does manage to eventually go on to, I believe, commentary and wrestling acclimate in Japan once leaving this substandard role here in NXT in the years to come. And ultimately, Rex manages to do some forearms and basic stuff here. Manages to also get cross bodies and a couple near falls. Misses, and ultimately attempted roll ups and kickoffs there. Then we see an amazing kind of go around with a spin wheel kick by Tyler, or not Tyler Rex, but Yoshitatsu, getting him the victory there. More fighting with or issues between AJ and Maxine. Caitlyn comes back as a member of, I believe, the SmackDown roster, who returns to NXT. Caitlyn fighting Maxine this time around, and ugly match, really. I mean, Maxine, a much better character than she is wrestler, gets a couple of takedowns, doesn't get nearly as much as she wants out of things, and manages to get things going together ultimately, and we see a continued run of things. And ultimately, over the shoulder, almost Dragon Sleeper type maneuver by Maxine. Maxine takes her down into a reverse chinlock, and ultimately that match continues to go in a positive enough direction here. Also sit out bomb along the way, and a continuance there of things, and we see the sit out there, and ultimately eventually Caitlyn gets the submission victory. We go to highlights of Raw, which aren't really highlights. Also an alignment which hasn't been fleshed out terribly much between Derek Bateman and his new to be process here with Bateman and JTG is kind of goofy. I say goofy only because it's not exactly where we want to go, and then ultimately JTG makes his way out with Bateman. Bateman seems to be bouncing around in tag team and singles competition. Percy Watson and Titus O'Neil are the adversaries here. O'Neil and JTG have had issues in the past. Watson seems to be coming back to the brand because there isn't terribly much to do with him other places, apparently. Bateman, who is selling like $1,000,000 throughout this, and that is his strong point. Titus O'Neil, who has been the highlight of the area, and a kick to the top of the face here. JTG gets sent to the outside, doesn't get nearly everything he wants there, and ultimately, a couple of go behinds there. Hard shots, and ultimately, Bateman comes off the apron with a drop kick and doesn't nearly get as much as he wants out of the process. JTG manages to be kind of stalking his adversary a little bit here. Also, Bateman manages to take his man down pretty simply and rolls through. And ultimately, Bateman manages to do everything he can do there. Hard shots and a kick to the midsection by Bateman. Bateman sends his adversary to the outside of the ring. Doesn't get all he wants on being on the outside, but does get enough. JTG manages a short kick and tags off to Bateman. Bateman comes in via the top rope, misses a crossbody, and the babyfaces get the win off of the miss, or indirectly because of the miss, and ultimately that is the victory for Titus and Percy Watson as we go into the next of these NXT reviews. We'll be back with more right after this.